Welcome back to the channel, my friends, my internet homies, mi familia. I gotta do a couple things to this first-gen Tacoma truck camper that I've kind of been putting off, and I figure with Overland of America coming up next week and hitting the road out to Oklahoma, some stuff I want to knock out, make the truck look a little bit prettier and also function a little bit better. So in today's video, I want to actually remove this grill, and I'm gonna probably plasti dip it. We've got some leftover like black plasti dip, and I want to just clean it up because it's got all this like faded, I don't know, black, like it was a really cheap grill when I bought it. I'm just gonna hit it with some plasti dip, see what happens. Can't be that bad, right? And then I also want to clean up the headlights because they are starting to look a little hazy, a little bit yellow, and not a clean look that I'm going for. So the other thing I want to do is try and mount my fire extinguisher into the actual camper. Right now I just have it sitting on the ground in the cab of the truck. So if I can knock out those three things, I'll be pretty happy. I'm gonna start by taking this grill out. Oh, and apparently I'm supposed to, according to, you know, How to Grill on YouTube, I'm supposed to ask you guys up front at the beginning of the video to please give it a thumbs up and comment down below, and then also subscribe if you're new here. So I'd appreciate it. Really helps the channel. Love you. Now to get the grill off on one of these bad boys is basically some clips right behind here, and you kind of just stick a flathead in to loosen them so that way it comes off of the front part of the chassis of the truck. And I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7 clips in total, and then this whole thing should come out. So I'm gonna get this pulled off and then we can clean it up and then dip it. Grab the screwdriver, and actually these ones I can get, I think, just with my finger. These ones are a lot easier. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's the front, and then the lower ones are just a little bit harder to get to, and there's 3 of them on the bottom. There we go. There's one side, there's the middle. Can't actually see what I'm doing, but I've done this a handful of times, so I kind of know where to put the screwdriver. There we go. And now the grill comes out. And there you go. I actually took a couple of these clips with it, so I want to put those back into the truck. And holy cow, I got to clean off this AC condenser. Is that the right word? It is covered in dead bugs. And now on this aftermarket grill, there's only 2 Phillips heads. They're on the actual factory emblem, which this is. There's an actual third hole, but this grill was cheap, and I guess just they didn't want to put 3 screws into it. So Phillips head, take those 2 out, and we've got our emblem, which I may try and clean up in some way. It's also oxidized, but we're not going to dip this. I want to keep the factory silver. Now really the next thing I need to do is just hit this thing with some all-purpose cleaner and get all this dead bug residue off of this, so that way the plasti dip has as good of a chance to stick onto it as possible. I'm also going to clean the backside just because it's dirty, and I like to clean my parts when I take them off the truck. It's a good opportunity to get into all the hard-to-reach spaces. as much progress as I'm making on this, the weather is not looking too hot. It's looking like it might start raining or storming. So we'll get as much done as we can. Hopefully we can knock this whole project or projects out. But I've got the headlights just cleaned up, degreased, hit all of this with soap and cleaned that up, same deal. And then I've got the emblem and the grill just cleaned up and drying. Gonna have to wait for this to fully dry off before we actually spray it with anything. So the plan for the headlights is to hit them with a polish or a rubbing compound to get a lot of the heavier oxidation. I mean, honestly, this is more so for like paint correction on a car, but I'm gonna just see how it goes with the headlights because they're not that bad, but I just want to clean them up and take some of that haze away. So I'm gonna go rubbing compound, then a polishing compound, followed up by a Carnauba wax, and that should get these looking a lot better. And honestly, with the grill off of the truck, it just makes getting access to these a lot easier. So I'm just gonna pat this on, start on level 3 and just work it in, and then we'll bump it up to like level 6 on the DA and see how it comes out. See what it looks like. Oh yeah, that looks way better already. Let me look at the comparison. Oh yeah, took a lot of the yellowing out. So I could probably sit here and do that a couple times. I may do it another time off camera. But the other way to do this is, and technically I'm not doing this the right way. You can use, there's kits that they sell that are more like wet sanding, where you hit the headlight in all different grits of sandpaper, working your way up, and then you finish off with kind of like a clear coat that goes over it. That's definitely the better way to do it. Also, this buffer is like a 6-inch pad, and it would be a lot nicer to have like a 3-inch buffing pad to be able to get a little, I mean, it's just a small piece, so it'd be nice to be able to work that in on a smaller pad. But I'm just doing things with what I got, and I'm gonna make the best of it. And if you can appreciate that, leave me a thumbs up. Let the algorithm find other garage hacks who like doing things for cheap on their own in their garage or next to their garage. Yeah, pay no attention to all of the splatter from doing this job. I will clean that up later, but check out the difference. This is after the rubbing, polish, and then the Carnauba wax. And this is the side I haven't touched yet. Hopefully that shows up on camera just how like yellowed that is versus that. So light output should be, oh yeah, light output should be a heck of a lot better after doing this job. Not to mention it just makes the truck look, you know, a lot nicer. But yeah, wow, what a difference. So I want to do that side next, but while it's not raining, I'm going to try and hit this with some paint. Now, originally I was going to do this with some cans of Plasti Dip. Crap, this may not be dry enough yet. Okay, well, that's finishing up. I was going to do this with black Plasti Dip, but to be honest with you, I may try and just use this flat black enamel paint, just because it's the same stuff I've used on the front bumper, and so it should kind of match all together. Like I redid the windshield wiper arms with this stuff, the front bumper, and just some little tidying up here and there around the truck. So may as well keep it, you know, looking consistent. And I think I have enough paint. There's maybe that much. I guess worst case scenario, I can go get another can, but I might see if I have enough to make this happen. That looks pretty good. Hopefully this doesn't take too many coats to get full coverage. And honestly, I'm really half doing this. I should be doing primer and then this, but to be honest, I'll probably replace this grill at some point down the road. And I'm just gonna doctor it up a little bit and make it look nice for the event next week. Which, by the way, if you're planning on going to Overland of America in Jay, Oklahoma, September 12th to the 14th, make sure you use my coupon code Connor 10 to be able to get 10% off your tickets as well as your camping. So, and make sure you say hello if you see me out there. Love to meet you. Maybe check out your rig. Have you, check out mine, show you around. And I'm just going to give this maybe a few minutes, and then we'll come back for round 2. Everything is now in a state of drying. I have done the same process to the driver's side headlight. Both of them are now done. Just basically rinsed off the bumper and everything to get as much of that excess wax, that overspray off of everything. And I think the headlights, especially this one just looks way better. But this one also, it almost seems like there's a leak somewhere in here where dust is getting in. So I've had these headlights on this truck since I bought it. I have no idea how old they are, and I may replace them here in the near future, but I do really like this style. I don't know what it's called, but it's got like a black housing to it, and obviously just your typical halogen reflector style headlight, but I think the black housing just looks good when you have the black bumper, black grille, which is now also drying. I'll show you that. Basically just went to town and used as much of that can as possible, and I think it came out good enough where, it got full coverage. It's no it's no work of art. It's not going to be a show car, but I think it'll look better than it did with all that nasty looking faded plastic going on. So once that's dry, I can pop the emblem back into it, put this thing back on the front of the truck. But in the meantime, what I want to do is actually take my fire extinguisher, which just always lives right here, and I want to try and mount it somewhere in the GFC. Now, in reality, I would love to mount this somewhere like this, preferably on the driver's side. One, I want to have this in the camper because I feel like that's where, doing cooking, and sometimes in the winter I have the diesel heater going. I feel like the camper is a good spot to have it. And, I want to be able to put it on this side, mainly because if I'm in the cab, driver can get out as quickly as possible without having to run over to the other side and still have access to it. So it might save a little bit of time in that scenario where hopefully we'll never have to use this, but should we, I want to try and set myself up for success wherever possible. Now, one good thing about putting it here is it's going to be accessible, again, to the driver the fastest. It can also be accessed through this panel, and it could be accessed through this panel here. So kind of like 2 ways that I could get to it. Now, adding it onto here is going to be a little tricky. It does have this, I don't know, it comes with this like little clamp thing that you pull it off of like that. And it's not the greatest, but I'm going to try and utilize it to mount it nonetheless. And I think potentially zip ties are going to be the way to go here, because I'm certainly not about to drill into the factory GFC, but I think possibly putting some, probably zip ties to mount this guy to the bar and then clamp the fire extinguisher to the mount. So to be clear, I'm not zip tying the entire fire extinguisher to this. I'm only zip tying the mount. That way I don't have to cut zip ties to be able to get to it. I want to make that blatantly clear because that would be highly irresponsible. So I'm gonna figure this out, and then the other thing I might do is add some foam to this, so that way I don't scratch up the powder coat on this bar. But that's kind of what we're looking at. So I've got this like 1/4 inch foam, and I'm just gonna trace out a piece to fit behind this mount. Should hopefully do the trick. You know what? I need to mark this. All right, so I've got a straight edge to cut with and a Sharpie here that I'm just gonna outline this carefully. Okay, and there you have it. We've got a piece of foam just to put onto the back here to help protect the, like I was saying, the bar on the GFC, the powder coat, from getting torn up by this mount. Now the first thing I want to do is figure out where exactly I want this to go, which probably, if I can get it to suspend like there, that would be great. Now is just a matter of placing these zip ties strategically, so hopefully it will stay put and not just slide around a bunch. Not entirely sure how this is gonna work, but we're gonna figure it out together. Yeah, snug enough, I would say. Might be wise to try and get like some pliers. Oh, there we go. I gotta get grip on it. Just gotta yank these as tight as possible. Nice. Actually, I think the foam helps keep it from wanting to slide around as well, so that's kind of a win-win there. And you know what I just realized though? The fire extinguisher may not, because of where I put the zip ties, it may not actually sit where I want it to. I don't know if I'll be able to actually close this. That's actually pretty good. It does kind of rest on this mount here, which may or may not be a good thing. Honestly, that might be good though, to keep it from wanting to move around too much, is have it resting on this like bed mount. So I think we're good there. All I'm gonna do now is cut off the excess, and boom, fire extinguisher is mounted. And so now we can do like a little trial run here and see how quickly I can get this off. So we will treat it like a real scenario and close the latches. And 3, 2, 1. Oh no, there's a fire. Let me open this. Open this, get this open. Grab this guy. Boom. Fire extinguisher. Done. Not too bad. I think that'll actually work out beautifully. You know, it's not perfect. It is, you know, I'm sure people actually make mounts to be able to mount fire extinguishers to like roll bars, roll cages, that sort of thing, which is basically what the GFC piping is kind of like. But, you know, for free 99, a little bit of foam that I had, as well as some zip ties, I think that'll work out. Now, I think the bumper might, or not the bumper, the grill might be ready to put back onto the truck. It looks to be kind of dry enough. Also, let me know down in the comments if you guys know of any mounts that would make more sense. You know, I can order that potentially in the future, but just wanted to temporarily get this up here, see how it would work and fit up in this position. So that way, if I do order a mount, I know where I want to put it. But let me know down in the comments if you guys have any suggestions on more legitimate fire extinguisher mounts for this type of setup. All put back together. What a world of a difference that makes. Just a little bit of elbow grease on the headlights, and then I'm actually really glad I ended up doing that paint versus the Plasti Dip, just because it matches the bumper a lot better, which honestly at this point needs to get resprayed because it's got rock chips and all that. But just a cheap can of rattle can spray paint and really can make the front end of the truck look a heck of a lot nicer. Not to mention cleaning the headlights. Actually, the LED bulbs look a heck of a lot more white in color versus the yellowed headlight, causing them to have like a weird yellowed oxidation color. And so it just improves visibility at night, as well as I think the look of it looks a lot better, because I hate the halogen bulbs, that yellow color. Much rather go for the white. So just a little bit of wax, polishing compound, cleaned it up nicely. Just a quick video today to try and knock out a couple, I would call them modifications, just changing the look of the truck between redoing the grille, redoing the headlights, and moving the fire extinguisher to, I think, a much better location. To be honest, it would be nice to get, that's like a full-size household fire extinguisher. I actually just bought an automotive fire extinguisher for the Prelude, just because I think everybody should keep those in their vehicles. If they're like your pride and joy and something were to happen, you don't want that thing to you want to be able to try and combat whatever's happening in the moment. So fire extinguisher in there. And what I was going to say is it would honestly be nice to just add a second one of the small ones to the cab of the truck, or an actual true automotive fire extinguisher, because those are more, I think, capable of putting out engine bay as well as like electrical fires in vehicles. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help out the channel, push my content out to other like-minded folks who enjoy watching it like you and I. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Keep elevating, my friends. Love you. Adios.